Hello again, friends. I wanted to give a few statements on the announcement of Cardfight Online. It is a fully functional card game simulator containing at least all of the cards from the G sets and beyond, with plans to fill in the older cards later. The game states that it is free to play with transactions in game, implying that the way that one earns cards is to purchase them with real money. It seems like they are trying to gather a good amount of money from this game through in game purchases, and I'm looking forward to seeing their exact business model. If implemented properly, the game will make Bushiroad good money while giving players affordable options to playtest their build, all while introducing new players to the game and adding an extra competitive scene for the game. If they implement it poorly, however, regular players aren't going to bother with the game, new players are going to feel apprehensive about making purchases, and things can go south very quickly for the simulator. Here's what I believe that they should do for the simulator. Have trial decks be completely free in-game, which, due to the addition of all of the null guards in the G-era trial decks, make them relatively playable as is. Since the game is stating that it is free to play with in-game transactions, I think that this is more or less a given, and it's probably going to happen anyway. I just want to make absolutely certain that this is the case. I also think that they should give older clans access to at least their triggers and throwback Legion mates from the start. Nova Grapplers and Gold Paladins have only one critical trigger apiece in the G era. Granted, I understand that they had previously had enough cards that either of them could make two complete decks with no similar cards between them outside of their G zone. So I understand why, but this game stated that it was only going to have the G set 1 and beyond for a significant while. I don't mind that so much. It forces old players like me to rely on the new cards more when I'm still spamming Gigantech Charger from set 2 because I just don't think Royals have a better grade 3 for me to run with the new stuff. Outside of triggers, I would actually like to see some of the old nulls and quintet walls as well. It starts to tread a slippery slope. What about vanillas? What about 12k attackers? What about legion mates to the throwback legions? What about archetypical cards that are pretty much mandatory? Archetypical null guards and triggers especially. I'm certain that Bushiroad has at least an idea of what they want to do for this. I just hope that it doesn't make certain decks or clans unplayable with the new support that they have in the G era that is just missing all of its base support from previous eras. Here's a list of things that I really don't want to see from this game. Warnings that if Bushiroad should see this, they should heed very carefully. The first thing that Bushiroad needs to realize is that this is going to be used by individuals who play the game competitively to playtest and keep track of win-loss. With the win-loss displayed next to your character's name, as seen in the previews, we can glean that winning should be the focus of competitive play. I think that rank play should be reserved for individuals trying to climb the ladder, though. There should definitely be casual free play that does not count against your rank. This lets people use the application for what it was intended for, playtesting to know which cards to purchase in real life. Additionally, if they implement a play with friend option, which they really should, then I want to make absolutely certain that those wins and losses never impact rating to avoid a dishonest climb on the ladder. The second thing Bushiroad should avoid is a single card acquisition system of any kind, unless it's done dirt cheap. Pack opening and rolling for cards will take away from the purpose of the game being a simulator. Other than a few hardcore cases, people are not going to dump as much money online for this game that they do for the physical cards for obvious reasons. If individual cards are, say, 5 cents a pop, then maybe it would be acceptable, but it's still treading a very slippery slope. Packs or any other kind of luck-based system for card acquisition will eliminate the competitive aspect that the game is trying to create. I'll expound upon why I'm so against single card acquisition methods instead of bulk card acquisition methods. Let's say that they sell boxes online for $10 per box. That sounds pretty good, right? Well, since this is a digital simulator, not really. You have no physical value backing up the card's actual worth. You essentially are just burning money on ones and zeros. And as a programmer myself, I don't see anything wrong with that. My issue is the quantity of money you'd be spending for the quality of cards you receive. If you want a playset of a triple R from a set, that averages out to 12 boxes. 12, as in $120 at this very fair price, in quotes. The reason people buy cards at that quantity is to get cards early and sell the rest off. That is likely a non-option in the simulator, making cards sit in your collection gathering dust, and making you wonder why you're spending so much money on the simulator and why you have 37 digital copies of a heal trigger. Even with a trade system in place, it's going to more or less wreck the competitive aspect of the system and make it into a pay-to-win system, where the rank that you have reflects the money that you spent over deck building and playing skill due to an indefinite amount of money being required to finish any given deck due to the randomness of opening packs, in addition to power creep each set requiring more new purchases to stay up to date. I am not saying that buying cards on the simulator in general is pay to win. I'm only stating that randomly buying cards on the simulator would lead to that by default. And I have a suggestion to curb this. Sell clan support from a set for a set price. Like, say, Shadow Paladin. You could have 4 copies of every single Shadow Paladin card from set G3 for $3. That is a fair price, and it will net Bushiroad the most amount of money overall for its price range. I would not go higher than $5 if I were Bushiroad. At $2 to $5, people are going to be willing to buy it. They will get to buy the digital copies of their cards, or cards that they were planning on buying, for the price of card sleeves. So they essentially get to save a little bit of money and effort when testing, since they won't have to sleeve or replace broken sleeves. Bushiroad will make a good amount of money selling a large quantity of these purchases, and with the relative cheapness of one clan, people will be significantly more encouraged to purchase more clans for the same price. People end up spending $20 to $25 to unlock all cards in each set, and that adds up very quickly if you're purchasing every card, so they should make bundle deals. 4 copies of all cards from a given set for $10 to $15 so that they can make a quick buck, and if you don't necessarily want Murakumo in set G3, well, if it's bundled in there, why not? And an intro pack could also be created where you get 4 copies of all cards from the first 4 sets for $30. Abuse those Steam sales. Make SPs cost more for people who want the bling, or even reserve SPs for something awesome like merit-based SPs, where if you win 10 times with a deck, you get a random SP for your clan. Something like that would be awesome. I could see alternate artwork for cards being sold or won as prizes in tournaments. This game has so much money-making potential that I'm actually a little bit disgusted at the thought of just how easy it would be for that to happen if they implement it correctly and keep the transactions small and affordable. Now, there should still be means for free players to obtain cards. I'm not certain what the best method of that would be, but I'll leave Bushiroad up to deciding that. I think that there's a lot of potential to really make it a fairly decent grind game if you want to build an entirely new deck, but you should still at least be able to get your first deck relatively easily for free, because that would encourage more people to continue playing the simulator if they feel like they actually have a completed deck. The third thing that I don't want them to do is let the game be too manual. The saving grace of the Vanguard 3DS game has to be that you cannot break the rules of the game. Online sims for Vanguard have featured some of the scrubbiest, most awful players imaginable that will lie, cheat, not shuffle, or argue over the rules, or rage quit. By forcing people to see how the interactions work, it eliminates the whole, no, you can't do that, or I draw off of your dark face. No, you don't. Why would my card let you draw? Why would I counterblast to let you draw? Needless to say, I think that this will improve the playing skill of people considerably. I think Cardfight Online has a lot of potential to push Cardfight Vanguard over several other games on the market. With set G4 being the most fun set for me since set 9 was released in English, I'm just not sure if I'll be able to stay away from this. If Vanguard does get popular enough online to have online tournaments, I may even make it a habit to start streaming my own gameplay. I think that this is all some pretty exciting stuff. That's all I have for right now, but let me know what you think about Cardfight Online so far.